Okay, so we're going to continue our lesson on polynomials. If you haven't gone back and watched if you haven't seen the first part of this video or this lesson, please go back and watch that in the previous folder. All right, so let's get started here today with doing a little estimation. How many ounces does the vase on the left hold, do you think? We'll pause here. Okay, just a quick reminder from last time. We learned how to find the degree of a monomial. If you recall, you take the exponents of the variables and you add them together. So, what is the degree of 2a to the third? Okay, this has a degree of 3. Here's the variable, and here's the exponent on the variable. There are no other variables, so that would be it. Okay, how about part B? What do you think? So this would be 1, because that really has a hidden 1 on it, even though it's not written. Okay, and how about C? Okay, the answer to C here would be 3. You got k squared m to the first. These are your exponents on variables. You add them up, so that's 2 plus 1. That would give you 3. And then how about D? Okay, on this one we would get 9. You take 5 and 4, add them together, you get 9. So that's how we find the degree of monomials, okay, as a refresher. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how do we classify polynomials. This is how we name them. And you need to do this with 2 parts. It'll be what's the degree of the polynomial, which we learned last time how to do that, and how many terms does it have, okay? And we'll talk about that here in a second. So those would be the 2 things that we'll use, and then we'll use this chart to name it. Okay, so here's how that works. Classify, or name, each polynomial according to its degree and number of terms. Okay, so I'm just going to say degree, and then how many terms does it have? Okay, so the degree, remember, you want to find the degree of each term. This has a degree of 3, and this one has a degree of 1. The degree of a polynomial is whatever one's the biggest. So this would have a degree of 3. Okay, how many terms are there? Remember, terms are how many monomials, everything between a plus or minus sign. So this would be a term, and this is a term. Okay, so there's 2. Okay, so now we're going to use the chart, these 2 charts that we have on the right. So first, your name is going to have 2 parts. Okay, so the degree is 3. So if we look here, the first part of the name then, a degree 3 is cubic. So I'm going to write that, cubic. And then terms, you're going to use the next chart. So 2 terms, and it's binomial. So you're going to say cubic binomial is the name of that first one. That's how that works, okay? So hopefully that makes some sense. You'll notice some here are highlighted. Those are just kind of common ones, quadratic, cubic, and then terms, binomial and trinomial. You'll just see those a lot, so that's why they're highlighted on that chart, but it can be any of those. Okay, so same thing here. Let's try this next one. Degree, what is the degree of this one, and how many terms are there? Okay, so this one, first one would have a degree of 6, 3, 1, 0. Okay, so what's the biggest one? Well, it's 6, so the degree is 6. And how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's use our chart. Degree 6. Notice once you get past 5 here, there's no longer a name. You just say 6th degree. So I'm going to say 6th degree. And then 4 terms. It says we use just polynomial. Now these are all polynomials, monomial, binomial, trinomial. Those are just more specific names. But this one, once you go past that, we just say polynomial. So this would be a 6th degree polynomial is the name. That's how we classify it. Okay. All right, this one, kind of weird. Let's do degree and terms again. Okay, so the degree, there's only one term here, and it has a degree of 2, right? Just that one. Okay, now how many terms are there? There's just the one. Okay, so the degree, let's see, tells us the name is 2, so this would be quadratic. Using that chart, quadratic, right? And then number of terms, there's 1, so it would be a monomial, quadratic monomial. Okay, and you've just classified those 3 polynomials, okay? And though classifying is important because it tells us more about how it behaves. So this will be important as you get into higher level math. Okay, good. Now we're going to put together everything we know about how to deal with polynomials. So what we learned the last time in the last video and today's lesson. So we'll do a couple examples here. So last time we learned how to write it in standard form and what a degree was, or what the leading coefficient was, and then how to find a degree. And then today we talked about how to classify. So we'll do that, all of these things together now. So here we go. We've got this polynomial, okay? Standard form. Remember, standard form, you're going to put them in order from highest degree term to the lowest degree term. So the first thing you want to do is say, what is the degree of each term here? 1, 3, 0, and 5. Now, you're going to start with the highest degree term. That's this one. Don't forget to include the sign that's in front of it. So that will be first because it's the highest one. So we're going to say negative 4x to the 5th. Okay, once you use it, I like to cross it out. Then we go to the next highest one, which would be 3, and we're going to write that. So this would be plus 7x to the 3rd. Next one would be this. Now notice there's no plus sign in front of it, an addition sign, but it is a positive 3x. And since we don't have anything, we have to tie these together with a plus or minus sign, so we have to put that plus sign there. Okay, and then lastly, we have this plus 12, so I'll add that on the end. Don't forget the last one. Easy to miss that one. Okay, so now our polynomial is in standard form. Once you've put it in standard form, the next thing you're going to do is write the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient will be the number that's in the very front, only the number, so that would be this, once you've written it in standard form. So the leading coefficient here is now, it's negative 4. Okay, remember each of these are coefficients. Okay, the one that's in front is called the leading coefficient. Make sure it's in standard form first. Okay, degree of a polynomial is, remember, the highest of all of your monomials. So you have 1, 3, 0, and 5. 5 is the biggest, so the degree is 5. How many terms do we have? We had 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now you're going to name that. Make sure you use the degree and the terms to name. You should have 2 parts to every name. So I'm going to use those 2 charts. Degree 5 says quintic. So I'm going to say quintic. And then 4 terms, it says it's a polynomial. Okay, so I'm going to write quintic polynomial. Okay, and that's the name. So now we've done everything we need to do for that. Okay, lots of information, but hopefully that's pretty easy and you can handle that. All right, let's try one more. Make sure we're good. Okay, let's start with this one. Find the degree of each term. So here we go. This is 2, this is 4. Standard form then. I want to start with this one. It'd be positive x to the 4th. Because it's the first one, I don't need to put that plus sign there. If it was negative, I would need that there. Okay, and then next I would have this, minus 11x squared. Okay, cool. Done with standard form. We've done those 2. What's the leading coefficient? So that's the number that's in front once you've put it in standard form. Well, notice there is no number here. Okay, it's only a number, but there isn't one written. Remember, that really means there's a hidden 1 right there. We don't write it, but it's a hidden number. So really, what's the leading coefficient? It's 1. Okay, the degree. Well, the first term had a degree of 2. The second one had a degree of 4. We take the biggest one, so that would be a degree of 4. How many terms do we have? 1, 2. 2 terms. So now let's name it. Degree 4 means, right, looks like quartic. And then 2 terms, binomial. Okay. And that is our second part on polynomials. Okay. Today you have a worksheet. It's called Intro to Polynomial Worksheet. Please go back and review either of the 2 videos. If there's anything that you're confused on, you should be able to figure it out using these videos. If not, come and see me and ask the teacher time. Don't forget to write this into your planner so you've got it and you can check it off when you're done. All right, good luck.